Today we're diving into the Rentista Visa. This is the golden ticket for retirees, freelancers, or anyone with passive income who wants to live abroad without working in their host country. Whether you're looking at Costa Rica, Argentina, or another beautiful LATAM destination, this visa, the Rentista Visa, could be your pathway to a new life or a Plan B residency. So, what is the Rentista Visa? It's a type of residency permit designed for individuals who can demonstrate a steady passive income. And passive is the key word here. Unlike work visas, you don't need to find a job abroad. Instead, you prove that you have enough financial resources coming in passively to support yourself comfortably. This type of visa is perfect for retirees because if you have a pension or other passive income, you will qualify simply by showing that you have a pension. Another good group of people would be investors. If you have dividends exceeding $2,000 a month, if you have rental income from rental properties, if you have a trust fund, if you have any sort of infinite distribution, right, like annuities, then all these different financial instruments could potentially be demonstrated to show that you have passive income. It's also a fantastic option if you're exploring a digital nomad lifestyle, or you want a slower pace of life in a scenic country, or you want to escape your high tax country, move your tax residency really to a low tax country. You can get in with the Rentista Visa, right? Maybe you're Canadian, you want to escape Canada, escape the UK, escape the European Union and these high tax systems. You can use that Rentista Visa, show a bit of income, right? Get the Rentista Visa, use that to obtain a tax ID and tax residency in your new country, whether it's Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, any other destination in Latin America, Dominican Republic, right? This Rentista Visa can be your key to making that happen. So let's get into some requirements, okay? While the requirements here vary by country, let's look at Costa Rica as an example. So number one, in Costa Rica, you got to show income proof. You need to show a stable monthly income of at least $2,500 a month. Or you can also make a $60,000 bank deposit in a Costa Rican bank. That's pretty unique to Costa Rica. There aren't too many bank deposit residencies. But the logic in Costa Rica is $60K divided by 24 months is $2,500 a month. And they think, you need to show at least $2,500 a month to be able to support yourself. So proof of income, and I think it's $2K in Panama. It depends on your age. Some countries it's $1,500 or $1,000, and I think the lowest one might be Nicaragua. If you can demonstrate $700 a month in passive income in Nicaragua, something around there, you can get residency. So you don't have to show that much passive income really. Moving on to some other requirements, you're going to need a valid passport, at least 6 months of validity. You're going to need a background check, so you want a clean police record from where you've been living for the past 3 to 5 years, different requirements for different countries. That'll probably have to be apostilled, so if it's a Canadian RCMP background check, a US FBI background check, got to make sure that's apostilled and might even need to get translated. Another requirement is health insurance. Some countries ask for proof of health insurance. It's not too many countries. I would say less than half of them ask for local health insurance when you get the residency, but we'll let you know as part of the process. Other countries like Argentina or Panama have similar processes as well. They just might require different income thresholds or specific types of proof. So if you want to know if you qualify and what countries you qualify for, you can book a call with MyLatinLife. There'll be a link in the description. Book a call with us, become our client, and we can line out, which countries you qualify for with your Rentista. Maybe you want to get some Plan B paper residencies. Maybe you want to actually move yourself with a family or set up a retirement visa. So we help people with all different types of goals there. So let's talk about how to apply and what the application process is going to look like. So number one, gather your documents, passport, proof of income, police check, health insurance, apostilles, bank statements. Step two, submit your application either through a local consulate in the US or directly on the ground in the country. So some countries allow you to apply in your home country, such as in the US. In other countries, you basically have to do the application on the ground locally in the country. They don't have like a remote option. So what comes to mind is Paraguay is in person. You got to fly to Paraguay. There's no interaction with like a US embassy or doing anything on the US side or the home country side. It's actually quite rare, the countries where you start in your home country. So it really depends on the country, whether you start in the US or in the local country. And the difference that makes in terms of convenience and logistics is if the process starts in the US, you can just continue living your life. So it is more convenient in a way to apply first in the US. But then the downside is it's often faster locally in the country because there's no correspondence aspect of things. Next in the process, you'll wait for approval. Processing times can range from a few weeks to several months. Some countries are faster than others. Costa Rica is said to be slow lately, taking up to 6 months to accept your application. In the case of Costa Rica, they did instate some sort of system that you can stay in the country while your application is waiting to be accepted. But wait times vary. And it's one thing to submit the application and it's one thing to have it get accepted. And then, do you need to be in the country during that wait period? These are all logistics that differ country to country and needs to be accounted for. Next, let's get into some benefits of the Rentista Visa. So why choose the Rentista Visa? Okay. Number one, you don't need to work locally in the country, so you can enjoy your freedom, focus on hobbies, travel, family, or just making money online. So when you don't have to work locally in the country and you can just demonstrate income and keep doing your own thing, that's huge. And then number two is a path to permanent residency and even citizenship. So many countries offer a route to citizenship after a few years of being a residency holder. This ranges anywhere from 2 years on the low end in Argentina, Peru, and the Dominican Republic, up to, I think, 7 years in Costa Rica, 5 years in Mexico, 5 years in Chile. So 2 to 5 years is pretty standard in Latin America, being the region of the world actually with the fastest path to citizenship on average compared to other continents and regions. Now let's talk about some potential drawbacks. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Here are some things to consider. One is the financial threshold, right? You got to meet these income requirements, and the baseline requirement goes up if you're applying with a spouse or family, and it might go up for every dependent, where if you have, say, 3 dependents, you might have to show double the income as if you were applying as an individual. Another drawback is the renewals and fees. So regular renewals of your residency card is just something to account for. In some countries, you're going to renew every year. In some, it's every 4 or 5 years. And it depends if you have permanent or temporary residency. Typically, a temporary residence permit is going to have to be renewed more frequently as you work towards permanent residency. So these renewals and often being in the country during the renewal period is a logistic that you need to think about, because if you need to be in person, usually you can apply up to maybe 60 days or 90 days before the renewal of the visa. So you have to kind of be in the country in a sort of a 60 to 90 day window to do your renewal, right? Get maybe a new photo taken and just go through the process. Some countries, a power of attorney could do the renewal for you, but it's very common to have to be there in person to do your renewal. Now let's talk about top countries offering Rentista visas. Again, pretty much every country in Latin America has a Rentista visa of some sort. The income thresholds are different, but pretty much every country in Central America and every country in South America has a Rentista program. So Costa Rica has theirs, $2,500 a month. Panama has their own as well, especially for retirees, is very popular in Panama. Argentina has one as well, showing stable income of $2,000 a month. Ecuador has one with a minimum income of about $1,300 a month. It varies. So each country has unique pros and cons, so it's worth researching the lifestyle, the cost of living, and the immigration policies. How much time do you need to remain in the country to keep the residency visa active is an interesting concern as well, because a lot of people might not be making the move full time. They might be looking to be a snowbird and spend the winters there or something like that, right? So physical presence is something to consider, but pretty much every country in Latin America has a program and the income thresholds are pretty low. Now some final tips for success. So number one, double check your requirements. Immigration's laws can change. Always verify the latest requirements. Number two, hire a lawyer or consultant, especially if you're not fluent in Spanish or the local language. It's a huge, weight off your shoulders to have someone just manage the entire application for you. MyLatinLife, we're a full-scale law firm or immigration agency that does residency in every country in Latin America. We do lots of Mexico, lots of Paraguay, Costa Rica, Panama, you name it, Argentina. So whatever country that you would like to get residency in Latin America, we can help. You can book a call at the link in the description. And then step three is plan your finances. Just a quick final tip for success here. So some people might be watching this and they might want to create the passive income so that they could apply in the future, right? Some people might have 6 months or 12 months of passive income. They recently started getting a pension, for example, or recently spun up a rental property, and they're wondering, when can I apply? Can I apply, showing 6 months of statements or 12 months of statements? So it differs country to country, and we can kind of help you plan your finances and make sure that you have everything in the right order. Wealthier people might have multiple income sources that they could potentially show to get the Rentista Visa, and we can kind of strategize with you to say, okay, this income stream is going to be a little bit easier in terms of the process than some other income stream where they might want to see more documentation, etc. So is the Rentista Visa your ticket to freedom? Well, honestly, it's an amazing option for anyone with steady passive income who wants to explore a new country without the pressure of finding work, maybe getting a Plan B residency for their whole family, maybe sort of a winter destination where they spend a week or a little bit of time every winter, kind of make it a new tradition. If this sounds like you, let me know in the comments where you're dreaming of moving to in Latin America, what seems most interesting to you. For people who have already maybe done the Rentista Visa, drop a comment as well. Tell us about your experience. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone planning their next adventure. And on this channel, MyLatinLife, we have hundreds of videos about residency processes in Latin America. So wealth of knowledge there. Check the archives and book a call with us if you want to start putting a plan in motion. Catch you in the next video. Hasta luego.